weather is kind of radio weather, but rain and traffic, not very good friends. We played Moses of the Morning Show. Is the one who played it. Is it Stevie Wonder?
Yes.
For the Love of Me.
For Your Love.
It's a good For Your Love. A good one to start Capital Gang. So welcome to the Capital Gang. I am Oscar Semoyamsoke with a bevy of topics, as Moses Kaule would say. The studio is full already. We've had multiple discussions, and we'll get into it. We have my long-lost friend, Godba Katushabe Tumushabe. You see, that's how far you go when we last spoke.
I know.
Yeah. So, Godba, what have you been up to?
Too many things, I think.
When I talked to Patricia about inviting him, she told me that you won't get him. He's a very rich, successful coffee farmer, and don't bother, you may not get him.
And I tried to balance so many things. Thanks very much, Oscar, for inviting me. Good evening, colleagues in the studio. Good morning. You know, I have that show that where I normally do good evening.
It becomes ingrained.
And good morning, our listeners of Capital Gang. Great pleasure to be here. No, I've been really busy, I would say, without a doubt. Because I try to multitask on a number of things that I consider important. So as you said, I do farming. I run a company called Tara Eco Farms, which is a full value chain coffee operation based in Ntungamo district. I run a think tank called GLIS, Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies, where I'm basically full-time involved in research. We describe our business as generation and production of new knowledge and ideas. As you know, I also teach at the law school at Makerere. So I have dedicated time there where I teach. And then a couple of other things. I should mention that I'm very actively involved in political organizing because I believe that as elites, as people who are educated, who are exposed, we have a responsibility to make sure that we actually organize and clean up the politics of this country, because I think we are a country that is operating in a totally broken political system that needs to be re-engineered and reorganized. Some of your gang members, I believe, they need to be helped because they are lost in the same system, and we need to be able to help them. So you can see that it's a full package, I would say. Yeah.
Well,
no. I always said the gains, the people Dixon, the protecting the gains. People said there are those people who are protecting the gains, and those of us on this side who are absorbing the pain. So that's really the dichotomy that we are dealing with.
What an introduction! Thank you. Raymond Mujoni is in the studio as well. For you, what have you been up to? You've been away 3 months.
Yes,
I don't know. Have you been in Iran or
Ukraine?
No, I was away. I was in a couple of countries doing very many different things, and then for the last month I was in Fort Portal, of course. I might be preparing myself for the future.
Part of Ankole. The future. I have a lot of Ankole this morning. And is anything happening on the road? And someone told me with the bombing of Iran, I know roads are going to stall in Uganda because that's where we get bitumen from.
You know, I'm sure he's listening in. I pressured Alan Sempewa, and I told him I'm going to drive him on that road until he fixes it. So now what they've done is a routine upgrade. So the better part of the road has actually improved. We can see the contractor is mobilized and on site. The money for the contractor was also found somehow magically, thanks to the parliamentary teams. And we hope the road will be complete by June. That's what they told us. So things are getting better.
You do know that Alan Sempewa is also a homeboy?
He is.
I grew up with his father in Kilembe.
Yes. Interesting. No,
he hadn't told you. He's a Kasese Kilembe boy.
He hadn't told me.
So he has every reason.
I threatened to drive him and Katumba Wamala on the road until it's fixed. Because that's the only way.
I'm not so sure about Katumba Wamala, but then we have a person new to gang, Mr. Tumusime Kakuru. We've had Kato here, and your recent exploits have included jail.
It's interesting to be part of this show. Good morning. Well, I've been in jail for just representing someone called Bobby Wine and the NUP.
You mean representing someone in jail?
No, I was arrested because I was trying to reach out to my client, and as lawyers, it's our duty to reach out to our clients to find out information and see how to handle their cases. So I was arrested.
So you were involved in an illegal act of trying to visit his home?
Whether it is illegal, that one you will say. But for me as a lawyer, I have a duty to visit my clients to find out. I had taken papers for them to sign because we are going to court over the deployment of police at his home. Remember, in 2021, court issued an order that police should vacate his home. So we wanted to follow up with the court case. As I took on the affidavits for signing, I was arrested. I've just survived.
Does that mean you didn't deliver? You just survived it. Yeah. But it means you didn't get them to sign anything.
Yeah. I did not because I was arrested at the gate.
Right. So that's a good way of collapsing a case.
No, I was arrested, by the way, and charged with being a common nuisance. I don't know when lawyers started to become common nuisances on their jobs. So I'm still reporting on police bond.
Oh, it has not been dropped yet.
Yeah. I was reporting on police I think from the 16th of February. I last reported yesterday. Yeah. So I'm still a common nuisance. So
do you intend to go back?
Yeah,
to get your document signed.
As a lawyer, it's my duty to do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and also get paid for it.
Yeah, I'm paid for it. Yeah. So I have to keep pushing for it until I get them signing my documents.
Honorable Dixon Kateshumbo is here. Katesh, you're most welcome. For you, what have you been up to? This election, I dare say, was a bit easier than the last one for you.
There's no election which is... I'm very glad to be back. And
you received no insults on social media, no account hacking. It was just straightforward talk against your opponents.
All those were localized. Maybe that is the difference, but of course the tactics have changed, and I'm glad that we got a big landslide eventually, and I'm happy to still represent the people of Shema Municipality.
Madam Speaker is here. Right, Honorable Lydia Wanyoto. Before she says anything, Honorable Katesh, will you vote for her? This is a yes or no question. This is a yes or no question. This is not a politician's. So let me repeat it so it's clear.
I will not vote for her because she's not standing. I have not seen her being nominated. So
right.
I can't vote for someone.
No, you'll make a decision when you would find out whether she's standing or not.
Oscar puts you in a corner of yes or no.
I know.
He's a teacher.
Yes.
I'm sure he loves objectives.
Yes.
So, but of course,
A is yes, B is no.
Lydia is
C is unsure.
Lydia is a respected colleague. She has been a member of SEC. And
goodbye. See, I tell him use yes or no. Now he's using other words.
But for the speaker's race, I think we are following the party's guidance to give a chance to our two speakers.
The party is always right.
So, yes, many times.
Madam, soon to be Speaker Lydia Wanyoto.
Good morning to you, Oscar.
I'm sure you had Eid in Mbale. And people in Mbale were saying, please continue with your bid to be Speaker.
Good morning, Oscar, and to the colleagues in the gang, to our friends who are here for the first time. You're welcome. There's, even if it's cold outside, gang is beautiful because there's always a hot coffee. So enjoy. Oscar, of course, I bring you greetings from Mbale. And those I did not see yesterday at Eid in Imbala, I wish you a continued celebration of the Eid and Ramadan season. But I was there with the main celebrants of that day, and I bring you greetings. I also wish you a belated happy Eid. If there's some rice we can share, pilau, this after the gang, we always get gifts from here. From the colleagues on the gang, the last time Katesh was here, I said that I did mention that I was expressing interest for the office of the Speaker, and he wished me well. So
and you wrote to the chairman.
I wrote to the
party.
chairman,
and waiting for his reply.
It is sometime in May. So it is, and fortunately for us, for this particular position, we don't campaign. It's a deployment within. So I would like to let everybody know that it's a deployment within, and that the NRM will win. Because it's not personal that even Katesh can be deployed to be speaker. It's not personal, it's for the party.
Yes.
It's a party deployment. So it's not about campaigns. Even we may not reach a vote. We've only reached a vote in the caucus once or twice in the office of maybe the deputy speaker, where we have no option. The candidates are more or less the same, and we're like, let's be fair, and they go for the vote. But in many cases, we don't have a vote because consensus building. And everybody, I want us to maintain the spirit of saying NRA must win. These people who come to the system and begin telling us how they are more popular, how they are. Why aren't you independent? This is a party. A party is a deployment. And for Godiba, every time Godiba has seen my prospects or he has a big doubting Thomas. I don't know why. you see for if you know even the Bible says that Jesus. That Jesus was not welcomed in his own home, or that the Muslims say that the Muhammad, his teachings were never welcomed back home. Godba is one of those. Whenever they mention my name, he's sarcastic. He's what? What is itching you? You know, this is our generation.
Thank you.
It is our time to stand out and say you can do this.
Okay.
And for you, and if for you are not ready, you keep on the side, and for us we move on Katesh. Katesh, when the caucus comes out, and I think we are going to go to Chankwanzi from 7th around about. We'll be able to understand, because majority of our colleagues are also new. It's my first time to be in Parliament of Uganda,
April.
although I've been around, but I've not been a member of Parliament of Uganda. And that should tell something about me also. Because I'm not a new face, but I'm a new person in the Parliament of Uganda. But I've won an election there. I have contested and been voted twice by members of Parliament when I've never been a member of Parliament. So anybody wishing me away like this Katushabes, these Godibas, I think they are joking.
Yeah.
So,
they are not your voters. Thank you, Lydia.
No. Let me also say this, that the office of the Speaker is a very important national interest issue. Even if you are not a voter, a member of Parliament, you voted these people to Parliament. It's very important that Ugandans pay interest to who is going to run the chambers of the Speaker. It should never be business and journey. And if you're not going to participate, then don't lament. That is my thing.
Thank you.
The time is now to sort
Let
this.
me thank Star Cafe
And for me, Oscar, finally, it's not personal. Me, I was asked by people of Mumbale to come and contest. And I'm presenting my papers.
Madam, soon
and when
to
we
be
go
speaker,
to the caucus,
thank you. When you're in that house,
sits,
when you say
we'll
thank
agree
you,
on how we move forward.
Go quiet.
Thank you. You asked me.
Yeah,
now don't stop me.
And then when I've stopped you, go quiet.
You're the one who asked me, so don't now start shutting me down.
Star Cafe. Katesh, you don't have right of reply. So let me first thank Star Cafe. and goodbye, you have no right of reply. This is the speaker of his table, so no right of reply. So, Kakuru, just to let you know, just to let Kakuru know, the Star Cafe is fine here. You don't need to carry a chapati in your pocket.
I'm enjoying my coffee right now.
So enjoy. Thank you, Star Cafe. Enjoy fully. Even Katesh eats fully here, so we are good. And goodbye. You start us off on the Computer Misuse Act. being, I don't know what words to use, being made null and void? Because the other one, the second topic of the day, also affects you. But let's start with this one. Is it, if I framed it as is now null and void, is that a correct framing?
Yeah, I think allow me put this record straight because it's important for me, especially with Lydia, because of how far we go. I think I made the comment on one of the WhatsApp groups, which was really almost a side show. And I think Lydia probably interpreted it as.
I will allow you one comment and that's it.
No, I was basically saying that for me as a Ugandan, if someone like Lydia was to be speaker, that would be my biggest relief. Because if there is anything I would want in this country now, is to have that parliament without Anita Monga. That one I have to be very categorical. So probably any other person other than Anita Monga would be happy because we've had the tenure of Anita Monga. We've seen what she has done. We have seen how she has reduced parliament to almost an organ of NRM. And so if these MPs, the Kateshis and whatever, could even ignore this sick business and liberate that parliament from this speaker, I think that would be very important. So I just want to put that record straight.
The parameters are very wide.
So
okay. Yeah, but you see, for the Godbars express opinions and
Godbar return to.
But essentially, on the Computer Misuse Act, that's basically the effect of the law. Of the judgment that the law as was enacted is basically violates or contradicts many provisions of the Constitution, and I think in principle enacting laws that protects privacy, that protects public safety, that protects the rights of Uganda, they are important. As a matter of principle, these are important. The problem with us as a country is that since around 2006, there has been enactment of many pieces of legislation that you would characterize or put into the category of anti-civil liberties legislation. So these are anti-civil liberties laws. While the subject matter of legislation is important, the current government or the current regime takes an approach of basically criminalizing what would ordinarily be civil liberties. And so these laws, you'll see them anti-terrorism. It's good to have a law against terrorism, but then you can have that law and weaponize it against citizens. The media legislation, laws on journalists, on media, they get weaponized. The NGO legislation, you get laws that are governing NGOs. Instead of actually promoting the practice of NGOs, people who work in this space, you are basically creating prohibitions around them. So you can go on and on. So the Computer Misuse Act basically fell within the same category. That why it is good to have laws that regulate the use of electronic media, and therefore you are protecting citizens. The laws that are that actually add value, that they enable use, they provide the incentives for appropriate use of such pieces of legislation or such a technology. They create this incentive, but then you don't just criminalize each and everything. And I think that's what the Computer Misuse Act did. Even when the law came out, actually, we basically mentioned the same thing, that this law cannot withstand the scrutiny of the judicial system if it is properly tested against the principles of liberty, of freedom that are enshrined under the Constitution. And really, I think we need to congratulate the judges that because this is one of those oppressive laws that have been on the statute book. There are many of these laws, and we can go into a list of all of them. But it's sometimes a breath of fresh air when you see the judges coming out and in very, very well-reasoned judgments explaining why such a law does not stand the test of constitutional liberties and freedoms that are enshrined in the 1995 Constitution. Yeah.
And Kakuru, can you list a few people that have been caught out in this computer misuse? There are others who've served the sentence as well. Our third topic today is Morocco, who are now champions. So the people who've already served a conviction of computer misuse, I don't know if CAF can also come and bail them out.
Well, I don't know how CAF reached that decision. I'm a great sports supporter. I'm a football lover. I don't know how CAF reached that, but they cheated Senegal. Well, for the people that have already served the sentences, that one the law cannot act retrospective, so they have to suffer that. But
can the conviction be withdrawn? So
no.
Oh.
Because they were convicted when the law was still in existence, so they have to serve the sentences.
So to remove a conviction, you go back to court and say, declare this.
Maybe if they were trying to appeal or what, but if they had not, then there is nothing to do for them. They have to suffer.
Wow.
We still have people.
So it's on their record that you are a convict.
Yes, they are convicted,
and you cannot stand for parliament because you are.
That one reaches when they want to stand for. But we have people like Marema Bilizi, the famous lawyer, who has been on remand. I also have a client of mine. It's called Ibrahim Sana. I don't know whether I know that boy called Pressure 24/7. He's been my client. I've rescued him actually several times from court. Interesting. But the problem is that this Computer Misuse Act, I think the MPs made it, especially the Honorable Muhammad Nseleko, made it with a lot of anger. He did not look at what it might implicate or the effects of the same. He
personalized it.
Yeah, he personalized it. Well, I don't support people who abuse their colleagues on media. I don't support it. It's bad, but the MPs ought to have taken time to look at what actually the law should be. Not because in Seleko the Honorable was abused on media, so he brings in things that are so ambiguous and vague. Because Oscar, if I find you on the streets of Kampala doing something, maybe throwing out rubbish on the road, I take your photo, I share it, I would be making the public aware of what is happening. But this amendment was meant to criminalize me for sharing your photo without your consent. So if I find a thief stealing, I shouldn't take their photo and share it because it would be against the law. But I appreciate the decision of the Constitutional Court that it actually confirmed that we, the citizens, have rights to express ourselves in a way we think. But it shouldn't be with abuse. It shouldn't be with, malice or what. But if, Oscar, I say that you are a thief, it's you to tell me, no, I'm not a thief, I've never stolen. For me, I would say that, no, from what I've seen.
And I can sue you for libel.
Yeah.
That one is already there.
But you see, even that section cleared the criminal libel or defamation. That is, that is section 162 and 63. Because for one to say I'm committing a libel or I'm defaming you, the statements I'm saying must not be true. But for me, I cannot verify whether they are true or not until you yourself comes out to clear it. For example, if I say the Honorable Kateshe and the colleagues are playing around with our parliamentary money,
which they are doing,
actually, they should be able to come out to tell us that
and
no,
we are not playing.
Yeah, that no, we the parliamentarians are not playing with our money.
Yeah.
But for me, I would have said what I think. So it's them to defend themselves. If they do not, then it means I'm clear on what I'm saying. So the Computer Misuse Act, the amendment.
But we don't want you to be a nuisance, just coming up and saying everything you wish to say.
Yeah, but I don't know
you
what
need some. I mean, even in the media, you need some evidence. You need some backing.
Yeah. So the backing I have is that Parliament is misusing our money. I have that fact, so I can speak it. Until the honorables come out and say that, no, we are not misusing, we are using it well.
Oh, you can even prove it.
Yes. For example, I don't know how long our parliamentary building has lasted before it's completed. It's, I think, coming to a third term. And we have paid a lot of money. So when I say they are misusing our money in parliament, especially the speaker and the colleagues, they should be able to come out and say, no, we are not misusing it, but we are using it in this way and way. So our right to expression and freedom of speech ought to be something that can help us maybe clarify from the people above.
Okay. Raymond Mujoni, the Kakuru here, Tumsime, is right that many laws are passed and then eventually they catch politicians out. So this Computer Misuse Act, again, it's not far from, I don't remember which one was the Amama Mbabazi one.
Oh, that's the second.
Yes, and eventually it came back to himself. So it is pleasing that this one has been made null and void. Did it require a judge to be brave?
Oscar,
could a Canada judge also put it down?
To first put the record straight, I am one of the petitioners under the Uganda Editors Guild in the matter.
So we should say congratulations to you.
Yes, we welcome the decision of the court, though we don't appreciate the fact that the court didn't in fact deal with the issues, the substantive issues. So the court decided to strike out those sections because the parliament had no quorum when they passed them.
Oh.
Yeah. But what we had anticipated...
On a technicality.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
What we had anticipated the court to do is to pronounce itself really on free speech. Justice Mulenga had been the first to get the Constitutional Court to pronounce itself on what free speech is. And the threshold has always been that you can say anything that's truthful in a free, fair, and democratic society. And it must be demonstrably justifiable that what you're saying is truthful. But that ruling came at a time when there was traditional media. That traditional media had editors. The editors would, if you say Parliament is stealing money and it comes to me as an editor, I would call Katesh before I put out that kind of information. And if he clarified that Parliament wasn't stealing money, then there may not be a story, or there would be a different kind of story. Over time, there has been a democracy of publication. Everyone with a gadget is now a publisher. And that democracy has come with almost no responsibility on the part of publishers. The kind of responsibility required of journalists and editors is not required of social media users. So maybe there was some good faith actually on the part of Muhammad Nsereko when he sought to bring some of these amendments. But the good faith had also other intentions that came with it. The first was that there were sections of the law which were very ambiguous. Part of that ambiguity was, what is unauthorized recording of videos? If I put out a video in the Capital Gang right now, and Oscar says, I didn't authorize you to record that video, does that then mean that video becomes unauthorized? But there's also the bigger question of public accountability. If you're a public official, can you justifiably claim that a video of you is unauthorized, or that the Editors Guild had sought some clarity on that matter, and we had thought that the Constitutional Court would make itself a pronouncement, because those pronouncements are good for the future, for us to fall back to. But also it would have been nice for the Constitutional Court to arbitrate this exchange that we're seeing online. Are there any responsibilities that fall to people who publish online? And if there are responsibilities that fall, are those responsibilities criminal or civil in nature? And the Editors Guild in that debate insists that they should be civil in nature. There should be ramifications for saying falsehoods. On that one, I think we disagree with our friends on social media. We think there should be ramifications, but those should be civil. If I abuse Oscar and Oscar is unhappy about the fact that I've abused him, Oscar should be able to go to a court of law and have a civil matter started.
You know, with that name, Oscar, you only give examples of good examples, positive things.
Yes, but so we welcome the ruling because then it together with it also, it helped us solve a matter within the media we've had over a long period of time, which is criminal libel. So it's also kicked out criminal libel. But the Constitutional Court has made no substantive declaration on a lot of issues. And I just predict that we will be back before the court in a very short time to try and understand what constitutes annoying people, what constitutes unauthorized recording of information.
Since the term of parliament has not ended, Sereko can bring another law.
No. It would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
But also,
These guys-
Oscar, I mean, in the healthy, we need to appreciate as a society that we need to have a healthy amount of debate.
Absolutely.
We are a very ethnically diverse community. What constitutes good manners in Toro may not constitute good manners in Ankole. What constitutes bad manners in Ankole might not be bad manners in Toro. So when we come to a square, which might be social media or the radio, how do we arbitrate those matters? And I think that's what the Constitutional Court has denied us of. I hope that our parliamentarians can go back in good faith and make an arbitration on this matter so that we know where the law stands on the matter.
Yeah. The BMK gift, our regular listener, never has kind words for Katesh. Says, tell Godba that Katesh is Anita's boy and will do anything to make sure that he serves the speaker. Anything BMK will come back. And
I promised to protect Katesh at the start of the show.
Actually, I did not consider Dixon in that group because I know the group.
You know the group.
I know the group, but I didn't know
BMK,
that Dixon was part of the group.
BMK does not like Katesh much, but you know Katesh, if possible, if you maybe didn't have forethought or a thick skin, you would have joined the people who want the Computer Misuse Act to stay, because you suffered a lot from it.
Well, first of all, I think you can see even from your the first message you read, because this act, and we respect court because they faulted Parliament on matters of procedure, which is something for Parliament to reflect on. But like Raymond has said, the substantive matters were not dealt with. And for me, Ugandans need to know that the era we are in is not the era of 20 years ago of responsible journalism. There is now a lot of activism online. There is a lot of malicious publications. And my brother here said something very interesting. You know, you tell a malicious lie and then you want someone to go on the defensive. You know, that's how our society, that's where we are going. That I abuse Oscar.
We said that one used positives.
Okay.
You abuse someone.
Someone else.
Or Kakuru.
And publish Kakuru that he has collapsed and he's been taken in an ambulance. And then the whole day, Kakuru uses his productive time to be on the defensive. This is ridiculous. Our society must know that our productive time cannot be, expensed on a lot of unnecessary, activities. This law is not the first time that a law of this nature is being enacted. Singapore in 1993 has a Computer Misuse Act. Germany has a Computer Misuse Act, and there are serious penalties. Even the UK, now we have very many countries which are actually broadening, tackling social media, Portugal, Malaysia, Norway, Italy, etc. Australia.
But bear in mind what Raymond has told you. Some of these computer misuse acts, were created when newspapers were powerful.
Yes, but they have been amended over the years because, for example, and I agree with the court where they said that some of the provisions were overly broad, vague, and ambiguous. So it is the responsibility of Parliament to, in good faith, look at those provisions, and this law will come back. There is no doubt. So those who are celebrating, I think the best thing would be, and I appreciate the pragmatism from Raymond because he's one of petitioners, but he understands that we actually need some protection laws against misuse, and so the discussion should be on how do we balance, if we are to introduce this law, because I don't think there is going to be any appeal. You cannot appeal on the procedure of quorum. If there was no quorum, there is no quorum. So the best thing is to go back on the drawing board as Parliament and government and probably engage these petitioners to say, okay, how do we remove the ambiguity? For example, there are sections sending malicious information, recording of individuals without consent, unauthorized transmission or sharing information about a child. You see, you go and get my daughter because you don't like me, you go and record her at school, and then you publish it, which can actually cause harm's way to someone who is not a party to perhaps a conflict. There is an issue of interception of communication. These godbars have always complained that, and this Kakuru, that we are always, you are listening. This is meant to protect you, So you are celebrating, but I think until you are a victim of this, I know in the last election, someone went on Facebook and pronounced me dead, and the whole day I had to spend time defending myself. Is that what the most important activity I needed to do? Exactly. Isn't that taking away my productive time? So I think those who are celebrating,
in some ways, you're not being fair. Isn't this what the regime does these days? They arrest Kakuru here on a frivolous charge, and now he has to spend all his productive time reporting.
I thought we are discussing computer misuse. Because if he was arrested for common nuisance, I don't know what he was doing. The circumstances.
He has explained.
You may have appeared not as a lawyer.
But Katesh, we are discussing.
Did you have an engagement letter introducing you to police?
Katesh,
you could have appeared as a common nuisance.
If you discuss, say, you use up people's productive time, then you also have to be equally broad and say it is not correct.
Yes, then we have to go into those laws and see where the lacuna is. I don't agree that a lawyer who is going to represent a client should be arrested. The only problem is sometimes some of these lawyers these days, their presentation and demeanor, they first appear as activists, then turn into lawyers. So I don't know the state in which this gentleman appeared with police.
But Dixon,
whether
someone
but what I don't agree with is
even
for
Dixon,
you.
someone can look at you on the campaign, especially today's politicians, and presume you did. Because of the way politicians.
My point is the civil society should help us. Where you find there are laws where we need to make amendments. This is what we should be looking at. But for us to celebrate and say this has been quashed, there are a lot of provisions which were meant to protect society and our people. Unfortunately, the technicality has knocked it out, but this is not the end. But I think the review of it perhaps the 12th Parliament will bring it back.
So Sally Magezi on X, formerly Twitter, says, tell Dixon, tell Katesh that China has very stringent anti-corruption laws. Should we copy and paste? Then another one, Bahomeza, says, but ask Katesh where the CDF will be arrested and arraigned in court because he's the worst offender.
Computer misuse actually is one.
But that one you don't need to reply to. You don't need to respond to any of those.
We have 5 people.
But since the campaigns are over,
we have 5 people in the gang. I don't know why all the fire is directed. Why all the questions
you have responded
directed?
As a true politician.
Because my view is that yes, we welcome the court ruling.
Yeah.
We appreciate the fault that they found Parliament in. If we did not have quorum, it is a point of reflection. Okay? But we have to reintroduce this law with clarity. And I think those who petition should be proactive and magnanimous to come forward and say, look, this is where maybe we should. But the journalism of these days, everybody gets a computer and gets online. And we have...
But that's, we had Susan Sibira here last week, the MD of Monitor, and she said, no, that's not journalism. And in fact, in newspapers now, they've given up on breaking news.
Yes,
so but what they do is you get a story, maybe it's broken on news, then they go into the detail if it's worth it, as Raymond had said earlier.
Yeah, that is what is happening. There is a lot of unregulated publication.
Not journalism.
Because when you look at I have seen people during campaigns, Shema there, who have put on press jackets. They have studied journalism in some universities and institutes. I don't know why, whether we have an equivalent of Law Society for the media.
Yeah.
And if it is,
then we are headed by lawyers.
The Media Council.
Yeah.
We have a problem on that, and it's a parliamentary problem actually, because
every problem is parliamentary.
The Act creates a professional body, but that professional body doesn't have regulations now for its enforcement. So we are waiting for Parliament for the regulation. The minister actually needs to table the regulation.
Let's go to Lydia. Lydia is going to Star Cafe as we come to her.
I'm still celebrating Easter, Edie, the appetite has opened, so we have to eat.
You've been lucky, Lydia. You've not personally suffered from what?
I've been a victim of computer misuse. Because I have a hard skin. You should go on social media and see. But like my colleagues have said, I'm a very good scholar of procedure. That's why even in my own party, I'm talking about procedures, which people like Katesh don't want to hear. But we need to learn that procedure is good for us. So if there was no quorum, then there is no reason for debate. There is a reason why in the rules of procedure of Parliament, quorum is important. Because you legislate for the country. You don't legislate for the sake of it. So we need to go back and do it right. Do we need a law or regulations on computer misuse? Like it is said, yes, we need. Maybe not to write a new law, but maybe to improve on what we call maybe defamation, because we already have an act of parliament or laws of Uganda that deals with defamation. What are you trying to correct is being unfair to somebody, imputing negative motives against an individual. I think that is the bottom line. So if you have laws in Uganda that are addressing that, the object is about misrepresentation about me, or the intention is to paint me in bad light to the public. That should be the object of the laws of misuse. And if there are laws in Uganda, like the one on defamation or whatever, we can improve on that, or we broaden or bring a law that is in line with that, but do it in a procedural manner. There must be quorum. Katesh, is it 45 days? There must be broad consultations. You don't bring a law and a bill in the morning. I saw Godiba saying that actually you can do it this time because you have like 2 months. That's when you waiver the rules. You put aside. Please, let's learn to live within the rules. Yeah, sure. You say now someone moves a motion to waiver the rules. Yeah. And then you pass something that is going to affect affects millions of people. So let's do things right. There's a reason why, even in a family, Katesh, you're a father, and I'm even happy to, sorry to say this, but you're a father of girls. Of girls. But in your home, I'm sure there's unwritten laws. You are daddy. In some of our homes, the father has a specific table, a seat. My late husband had a corner and he was a football fan. You do never turn off the TV when it's time for football. Yes. So these things are there. So we don't have to reinvent the wheels.
This will even tell you that since the father of girls, there are even rules of entry.
So why do you want to? Exactly. Why do you want to? Because if you don't want to work within procedure and rules, then you are preparing for anarchy. There are big-headed Ugandans around town. Even when there are good laws, there are those who want to break them. Now, what about the bad ones? Because this country has very big-headed people. Sometimes I think I'm one of them. But now, if you don't want to,
that's why we need the Computer Misuse Act.
Yes, so we need laws to govern us, because we are 45 or so million people. We want order in our country. We want lawfulness in the country. The moment you waiver off the rules or guidelines, you are creating anarchy. Oscar. So I agree with Katesh. Yes, we need to go back. If you want, actually, you can do it in the 11th Parliament. It's still running. But if you need the time, the 12th Parliament has 5 years. But let's do the broad consultations.
You do it even before you change the speaker.
Get the right stakeholders. Listen to people, so that it is in the interest of the public good, of the wider. And not out of anger. There is no space for anger in legislation, because laws are supposed to be blind. That's the principle of law. Yeah. You shouldn't be angry to pass a law. No, that's dictatorship, because that's just abuse of space. Yeah. Because God has given you space to legislate, then you abuse it. So I really think that, and you have numbers. Why would you 529 members of parliament be on the wrong side? We should be on the right side, because it's a big representative number to do right against wrong, to give a bigger picture of what the country needs. So for me, Oscar, I would not go even into the details of the law if it was passed without quorum. Me, I'm a procedural scholar, and I really think we need laws that
Oscar sometimes
that govern us.
So objective.
But hold on, because I'm going to ask you to close out this.
But Oscar, just a quick one. I think that perhaps the fault may not be that members of parliament did not attend. I think the issue is, how did we present evidence that there was quorum? No quorum. It is an issue of whether maybe the speaker should have done a roll call, but it's not that how can the 500 plus members not have quorum?
Because that I would dare say, I would dare say the fault was not what you've described. It was a member of the opposition presenting a bill, and people may have viewed it on a personal matter. So that is the bigger fault.
This was widely supported across all party lines.
House passed the bill.
Yes. So for me, what I want to remove is that the parliament members were not there.
So by the whole house passing the bill, some people decided to abstain.
But
perhaps
we are discussing this on the account of the rules.
It is, but Godba, you close out this topic.
It was
just going to add that sometimes Lydia is so objective that you forget that she is even a very senior leader in NRM. Because normally
they are not objective.
The traditional NRM people, they are supposed to defend NRM even when it's right or wrong. No, but essentially.
But Lydia, it's true. If there's no quorum, it's an NRM, because NRM, without needing opposition,
they can constitute quorum.
Yes.
Yeah, quorum. But I think
Just a second. You You see now, you come here and tell us how the bench is NRM. Now the same judges have told you that we should do it right. So sometimes you have to give it to the people or to the institutions. So suddenly these justices are not NRM cadres because that is the narrative.
You can't be. Yeah, you can't.
Is that the narrative?
You can't be sure.
Isn't that the narrative about their bench?
These friends here
would say these are judges. These are cadre judges.
All judges are cadres, but some of them are.
So not all NRM politicians like myself do not look at the rule of law or what is right and what is wrong. We are there.
We
are there. But sometimes we move with the majority.
It's just because we don't have time. No. Because we don't have time. But according to the description, the explanation by Raymond here, a cadre judge would throw out something like that without going into the detail. But good back.
Yeah,
close out.
Now I was going to say that incidentally, the Computer Misuse Act is not one of those pieces of legislation you would characterize as a regime survival legislation, because it has a different it has a different character where it either positively affects certain people and negatively affects others in a bipartisan manner. So, in other words, the concept of cadre judges may not apply in real time as far as the Computer Misuse Act is concerned. But I think what we